Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football channel. Today is game day. This is the second video, or the first video. I've done two videos pretty much uploaded at the same time. Fulham preview, link down below. This video today, we're going to talk about the so-called team meeting, the crisis, save our season talk that Graham Potter held with Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, who, when we look at these four players, you look at age, you look at responsibility, you look at leadership potentially in this Chelsea team. And I want to talk a bit more about this so-called team meeting today. We want to look at the comments that Graham Potter has made. We don't really get to see the ins and outs of what was said in said team meeting. But I feel as though when a manager comes out and makes it clear that a team meeting has been held between senior players to address problems and the manager, from this point onwards, in order for Graham Potter to keep his job, I think there has to be a positive trajectory of results and performances as a result of this said meeting. Because let's just leave the other side, this side of the story. Let's go to the other side. We now know that there's been like a Save Our Season meeting held. It's been reported by The Telegraph. If things don't improve, then what is being saved? What has the meeting achieved? And if all the players are coming together to talk with the manager, we all know how this goes in a Chelsea sense. We all know how this goes in a footballing sense. You can't sack a squad of 25. You can sack a manager. So I'm not saying that I'm against Potter now and I feel like this is last chance saloon, because I do think, even though we've had a lot of surprises with this Todd Boehly era so far of ownership, for some reason, I just think that they would stick with him, because I feel like they kind of have to, because you've already gone through every other decent manager in the world. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let's take a little look, first of all, at the comments that Graham Potter has made. I spoke really at length yesterday with Thiago, Azpi, Georgie and Kova. We had a really good conversation. Well, I'm glad it was good, mate. They again showed their qualities as people. This is a very common phrase that Graham Potter likes to use because of his understanding of people. They were honest, articulated their concerns well. They articulated their positivity. They articulated their responsibility. And I think we are in a place now where we can move forward. Now, there wasn't really anything else that we were going to hear about this, but I do think Graham Potter coming out in the press to suggest that the Chelsea team, as well as him as a manager, has kind of realised that we're at a breaking point here where the season is about to capitulate into pure nothingness before we've even got halfway through the amount of games that are played in a Premier League season. I think what this meeting tells us is that everybody at Chelsea right now knows that there is no way that this can carry on and be deemed and considered acceptable. Do I think that there is an option here that this game tonight against Fulham, as a result of said meeting, has now become a must-win or bust for Graham Potter? I think there's maybe like a 15-20% chance that if Chelsea are beaten tonight, Todd Boehly might just look at this and be like, you know what? I think we might have made a mistake. 6 defeats in 8. Before it becomes 7 in 9, 8 in 10, we're just going to fire the bloke. I still think there is part of me believes that that could happen. I just don't want to believe that we're going to keep on losing football matches. I don't know about you lot, but I'm kind of beyond over the fact now that Chelsea just cannot even string any amount of wins together, score goals, let alone anything else. Asked whether or not he has enough leaders in his squad, Potter replied, "It is an experienced team. The players are honest and they want to take responsibility. They want to improve. They want to win." So, of course, this is what is expected from every manager. Whenever you see a press conference, there are very few managers in world football who give answers that don't come from let me get my notebook out. There is literally a textbook of just go-to answers that managers have. You know what it's like? When asked about a player from another club that during a transfer window, I don't talk about players who are contracted to other clubs. You know that's the answer you're going to receive. So why you bloody ask the question? Journos have gone mad. But anyway, at the same time, we're in a tough moment and there are challenges that affect the players as well. They are human beings. They are paid to do their jobs, but they are not robots. They are still affected by results and things that are happening in terms of the transition phase of the club. So let's now go back to the four players that Graham Potter has had this meeting with: Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Kovacic and Thiago Silva. In my opinion, only 2 of these players should be anywhere close to the Chelsea starting 11. This, to me, is as big of a problem as any, because what it tells me is these are the players that Graham Potter sees as his leaders. These are the natural leaders who progressively within the dressing room are putting themselves together in a group, going to the manager to discuss the big major issues at the club. Now, Azpilicueta and Jorginho, in my opinion, are no longer good enough to be playing in Chelsea's starting 11. So, the fact that 50% of the higher leadership hierarchy of players socially within the club, the fact that 50% of these 4 are just not good enough to play in the first 11 right now, to me, just shouts alarming concerns. So, when Chelsea are looking in the transfer window, maybe we need to start buying some players who are more natural leaders, who can come into the club and step straight into more of a dominant role in that social hierarchy at the club. So at the moment, I think that some of the big problems at the club lies from the fact that, yeah, okay, we're buying players for the future. We're trying to start a different project. We're in the middle of this transitional phase. Even though there's no denying that, and I think it is the right way to move forward, there does need to be an element of responsibility, to use Potter's words here himself. There needs to be a responsibility from the recruitment team here at Chelsea Football Club to look at this and be like, well, you know, a spade is a spade. Azpilicueta and Jorginho, they're not at the level Chelsea need to be fighting our way up the Premier League table. If these are our leaders, we need to buy more experienced players. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because I think this interview and finding out about this Save Our Season crisis meeting that's been held, I think this tells us so much about where Chelsea have to go when we see that. Thiago Silva is not going to be here forever. Mateo Kovacic, I've seen a lot of people recently saying that Mateo Kovacic shouldn't be anywhere near the side. I think this is a bit of an odd take from some fans who don't really see what Kovacic does because he doesn't score goals, because he doesn't get assists, because we don't see those crucial through balls that lead to goals. But at the end of the day, there's no one to finish them off either. So why are you going to play a ball forward to a striker who's not a striker, who's not going to get on the end of it? So many different roundabout, loose-ended arguments right now at Chelsea Football Club. But I think this meeting, we have to see now from this point moving forwards, we've got to see a massive shift, a massive change in the mentality. And I think if these words like responsibility, leadership, if we don't start seeing these, then get rid of all of them, apart from Thiago Silva. But at the end of the day, Chelsea are in crisis. We are forced as fans who make these videos to talk about things in these kind of crisis terms because we are literally in a crisis. We can't win a game of football for love nor money. We can't score a goal for love nor money. So we'll see where this one goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Not going to take up any more of your time now. Fulham preview is in the description. Come on, you Blues.